back and bigger than ever. It's the Unofficial 40 from Soonerscoop.com. Now, here's the entire Sooner Scoop crew. Carey, Josh, Eddie, and
George.
All right, welcome back. It is the Unofficial 40 podcast right here at Soonerscoop.com studios. Some beautiful campus corner in Norman, Oklahoma. And we're down a man. We are down a man. Josh McQuiston is out at the Navy All-American practices right now. We're going to catch up with him. We'll have a recruiting report up on the YouTube page today as well, previewing what he's going to see out there, talking about his trip to Orlando. So it's just me and the boys today in studio. Everybody's in studio. I don't know why we have Zoom up on the screen. That's my fault. But welcome in, boys. Eddie, let me ask you. I don't know how the Oklahoma Hall Sports. It's not sports. Is it Sports Hall of Fame or just Oklahoma Hall of Fame? I
saw it, but I think it's the sports one. It could be the regular Hall of Fame.
It's all sports people, so I'm sure it's
very proud of Samuel. I'm sure it is high up there on his list of accomplishments.
So I've never been to that. The only Hall of Fame that I've ever really watched is like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and like bands I like go in. And they always have someone that, like, what do they call that when they introduce them?
Like the introducer or whatever. I know what you're talking about. There is a word for it, though.
It just fell out of my head. Like, I always remember that word. Inductor. Is that what it is?
Something along those lines,
inducts them. Do you have one of those?
I don't know. I need to throw my hat in the ring.
Yeah,
I guess.
You do.
Well, this is officially me throwing my hat in the ring. Sam, let me know if I need to do the introduction for you. I don't know what I know what you're talking about, though. I would be honored.
That'd be cool. I would try and find a way to go if you were gonna.
I might go anyways.
Induct him.
I might go anyways. When is the August 3rd, 2026? So in August.
You got time.
Yeah, definitely.
You got time to grease the wheel a little
KJ
bit.
Kindler and Rod Schote also being honored as from the Oklahoma side of things.
Maybe KJ Kindler would want you to do it.
I think Matt Holliday's going in as well. KJ Kindler, I would do that one as well. Very good.
I'm sure
coach.
she'll have one of her most famous gymnasts do it if that's what's going on here. We need to find that out, though. So anyway, welcome in, everybody. Let me say something real quick about the website, Soonerscoop.com, which is the reason that we're all here. I know I've been dealing with a lot of people having issues, whether it's logging in or getting too many ads. We have just changed over to a new payment system, and I've noticed some of the things, like people that had just renewed recently did it through like Apple, the Apple Store, and I think there's something that's not marrying up right and helping to acknowledge that you have a subscription still, even though you've paid. If you're having any problems, first off, go to support, send an email to support@on3.com and tell them what issues you're having. If you're having the ad issue where you keep having ads pop up over and over in the app, same thing. Go to support@on3.com. You can't really just come to me because what has to happen is you have to start a support ticket. And then if no one responds or you're having trouble getting help, come hit me up, send me a PM on the board if you're on the board. And give me your name and your email and your username on the board, and I will escalate that for you and get with somebody. So bad time to be having these issues with the portal going on, but we do what we do, and we help who we need to help, and we'll get you guys all taken care of. So, Georgie boy, how are you today? You have a life right now.
Yes. I actually do. It's been a chaotic few days, but I do appreciate Jim Nagy getting a lot of this shit done quickly. I mean, they have just been dominating.
It's been impressive. You guys were talking about this yesterday. Like, they had a plan going in, and
they've totally executed the plan. I would say.
I mean, are they like 10 for 11? Like,
yeah, they've only missed on one.
Yeah.
Alex Van Summer, and I will say too, I think that there's a handful of guys that they certainly, didn't want to see leave. Samuel Masigo jumped in the portal today after the Cole Sullivan news. I think that's a guy that obviously Oklahoma would still like to have.
I'd put Davon Jordan in that camp too.
Davon Jordan, yeah, possibly Logan Howland. Like, I think some of these guys that are really nice depth pieces, guys that would probably play for you next year in some capacity, maybe aren't starters, but you'd like to have. Even Jaden Hardy, he just entered as well. I don't know how many of those guys were just forced out. I think there was also not a lot of like oh, we're going to go over, above and beyond to keep them either. But
and let's redefine something here, though. Forced out. I mean, in today's day and age, all you have to do is basically say, we're not going to pay you more than we're paying you.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing, too. We can get into all the portal stuff, and they've crushed it adding guys. They've also, I think, been pretty cutthroat when it comes to guys that, maybe wanted to stay at Oklahoma but aren't going to stay at Oklahoma because they didn't get new contracts or they didn't get raises or they were told,
processing people.
Yeah, they're processing people. Like, that's happening behind the scenes. And I don't think OU's lost anybody that's just a huge loss. But I do think there's been a couple guys that you're like, man, I think OU probably would have maybe liked to keep them, even like a Zion Kearney the other day. Like, I think OU probably would have liked to keep him. But I also don't blame any of these guys jumping in because they only have so many years of eligibility. OU's recruiting over them. And the fact of the matter is, like, today's college football world, having depth is just a luxury. You have to go out and try and get your roster better. I think OU's improved its roster. I don't know if, like, I worry a little bit about the depth on defense. Like, the starting 11 that they'll probably have, like, I think that's a stellar group. But after that, like, you're going to be relying on some young guys stepping up or some of these other bodies that they might add later in the portal. Offensively, though, I think they've gotten tremendously better on offense.
It's been interesting kind of watching. And I'll be honest, I haven't really paid that much attention to it over the years. But the transfer portal section on On3, it's fascinating. Like, OU was they were 4th the first time I looked. Then they fell down to like 8th. And then yesterday they got back up to 4th. Right now they're sitting at 10th, which they've taken a tumble even though
I think they factor in the rankings like guys they lose, but I saw I think they have Sammy Omosigo ranked as the 3rd best linebacker in the portal, and they had Cole Sullivan ranked 26th, which makes just
they
zero
have him behind
sense.
Kobe McKenzie. Even.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. I think Cole Sullivan might be the best linebacker. I know OU viewed him as the best linebacker in the portal.
Well, and here's the other thing that really kind of jumps out at me is, like, you can see how many players teams have lost, and OU really, and maybe this speaks to the fact that this is Jim Nagy's first full cycle, and they're really like you said, taking a hard look at the roster, making tough decisions, and really processing people. But Texas Tech, they've had 20 guys that have transferred out. Indiana, they're still playing. They've had one guy transfer out so far, so that's one reason they're number one.
What a scumbag.
I'm sure he probably was not playing. I don't know who that. I guess it would probably tell me if I looked. But yeah, I mean, like, Ole Miss only has 2 players because they are still playing. But Oklahoma, at 25, that's a high number, especially for a team that hasn't had a coaching change. Whereas Oklahoma State, 60 players in the portal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
60.
And, look, I think the 25, you might look at that and you not, without context, be like, man, that's a lot of players and that might be bad for the program. But again, I look at that list and I would say maybe 3 to 4 guys you're like, yeah, Oklahoma.
It'd be nice if they still had them.
Yes, but and even those 3 to 4, I'd say none of them were starters.
It's kind of like that thing when, like, we went through it during the season when the availability report would come out on Wednesday night or Thursday night, and you would look at it, you would see all these offensive lineman names, and then you would also go, well, I mean, none of them were expected to play, so it's really not that big of a deal.
But at the same time, it shows you, like, with Oklahoma, I'm sure, like, Rocky Beers probably came in here and got a really good offer compared to what other people were offering him because OU needs tight ends. They're desperate for tight ends. Oklahoma State, they're desperate for offensive linemen. So I'm sure Jacob Sexton got a great deal from them.
I think it's really
that he wasn't going to get anywhere else. Yeah,
I think it's a great landing spot. Like, all of the OU guys even have, whenever they've announced, like Javonte Barnes, even Kentucky, it's like, I think that's a pretty good landing spot. Davon Jordan going to Baylor. I thought the Kobe McKenzie thing, as weird as it was on the surface that he's going to be going to Northwestern, reality, he's going to get a master's from Northwestern and probably be able to play a pretty good amount of football next year.
I will say, too, like,
I like Michael Hawkins, the Hawkins brothers going to West Virginia.
Yeah, all these guys have landed at nice spots. Has there been a single player land somewhere that's a better program than Oklahoma? Or as good of a program as Oklahoma?
No.
So that's my thing. Is like
but
it's not like they're losing
it's David
guys.
Stone entering the portal.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is like Oklahoma hasn't lost anybody that you're like, oh my god, like everybody's going to go after that guy. Now I do think I think somebody like Omosigo could get some good offers.
Yeah,
but
there's no Parker Livingstone.
No, or like I will say Gentry Williams did visit Georgia.
Yeah,
but I also think that's a very unique circumstance that Georgia's probably got a lot of corners as is, and it's a no-lose situation for them if they were to take him, which, again, I don't know.
But, look, we all think Gentry can play.
Yeah.
It's not whether he's any good or not. It's can he stay healthy?
On the field? So, but I think, back to Oklahoma, so much positivity. I think that you have to just give so much credit to Jim Nagy and his staff, and we'd heard that, they're ready and they're prepared for whatever to happen, but you always know, like, the transfer portal, shit hits the fan, and you don't know how it's going to go, but man, they've been sneaking guys onto campus that nobody knows about. They're landing guys after, a few hours on a visit, and they've gone out and filled just about every single need that we said they needed to go do. I don't know if they could have done a better job. Now, it has to, work out on the field next year. I mean, we thought that they got a superstar in Jaden Ott last, April, and he was a total bust. And there's going to be guys that they've signed in the last 2 or 3 days that end up not going to work out at Oklahoma. But in terms of filling the needs and getting guys that I think are good players, Oklahoma's done about as good of a job as you could hope for.
I'd add to that list too is probably Giovanni Gibson, because I know it's a lot of potential there, but the way people talked about him back in the spring, like I was even talking to Gabe last night, and he was like, I think he might still be the best receiver on that team. What's leaving now? Trell Harris coming in, and Parker Livingstone coming in. He wasn't saying with those guys coming in, but I mean, Giovanni Gibson, I hope he goes somewhere and has a really good finish to his career.
Yeah, and again, he's one of those guys where I agree, Carey. Like he's another one that I would add to the man. I think you'd like to keep him. Problem is like, he's got 1 year left, and from his perspective, he's got 1 season to basically show that he can play at the next level. And
it's crowded all of a sudden.
Yeah, and it's crowded. Like, how many snaps is he really going to get? And some people be like, oh, he's scared of competition. Well, yeah, but like maybe he should be, because like he could go somewhere else and probably be the guy for somebody. Like, he needs that next year. So I just think that's the reality of college football. You're not going to be able to hang on to all these guys.
And here's something we talked about yesterday too. It's the whole, and I asked Eddie if he'd seen the video. There's this video circulating. I think he's retweeted it. There's this LSU fan, and he's screaming at his computer about, Lane Kiffin needs to go out and get Cam Coleman, and this guy's in the portal. Got to go get him. Pay whatever you got to pay. We got money. And that's the attitude of a lot of people. When it came to Cam Coleman, it was very much like that on the boards. It was like, what are they doing? Why are we so cheap? Go out and get him. Pay what you have to pay to get a player like that. You let the smoke clear a little bit, and all of a sudden, you've got Isaiah Satania returning, we believe. You've got Trell Harris from Virginia. You get Parker Livingstone. And, George, I think you said this yesterday, like, you figure that up. That's about somewhere we think about the $2.5 million range for those 3 guys.
Yeah, I think
versus $4 million probably, at least, for Cam Coleman.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll get 4, but he'll probably get 3.
Tech might give him 4.
Yeah, Tech might give him 4, which he's visiting there today. But I think that was Oklahoma's approach all along. All this stuff about, well, they've got some secret donor that's going to pay Cam Coleman, like, I don't think that was true. Do I think that Oklahoma had money allocated, ready to go get a couple receivers like they did? Yes. Was Cam Coleman somebody that they were probably interested? Yeah, of course. But I think they also
it would have had to be like Cam Coleman coming in saying, I want to play here. I want to win a
which
championship.
Which was never going to happen.
And I'll take a discount.
Yeah, like this idea or narrative that Oklahoma was going to like be heavily involved with Cam Coleman, I just never believed it. And instead, they went out and got several good players that they really like, that they think can help them. And I think that was probably the right move. We'll see. But I think they've done a really good job at wide receiver and tight end, and offensive line. Those 3 positions, I think they've all gotten better at.
Eddie, I think if there's one thing we can say about Jim Nagy, it's that he has very good vision when it comes to looking at prospects, evaluating people.
I don't even know if I need to send him to Enjoy, but we can if he needs to. It's a new year, Sooner fans, and that means new opportunities, maybe through the portal. New opportunities to get back into the playoff, win championships, and thanks to Enjoy Vision, save $1,000 on LASIK and lens replacement. Contacts and readers are very last season. In fact, they were very last, 2 seasons, really. It's time to see every play, every highlight, and every win with crystal clear vision. Schedule your free LASIK or lens replacement consultation at enjoyvision.com. That is letter NJOY, vision.com. And start the new year with a fresh perspective and keep an extra $1,000 in your pocket and give it to OUNIL. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop LASIKs.
I think the real reason that OU wasn't involved in the Cam Coleman sweepstakes, if you will, it's because not enough Oklahoma med spas and longevity clinics teamed up with Cody Drug RX. They would love to team up with you. Look, they want to deliver high-quality peptides quickly, safely, and with top-tier service. So if you are an Oklahoma med spa or a longevity clinics, go give Will and the guys a call. CodyDrugRx.com. Look them up. Also, New Year, as Eddie said, you can start your own run towards your New Year's goal, whether you're looking to drop weight, boost energy, or just feel better heading into 2026. Cody Drug has you covered. They offer multiple custom compounded peptide-based weight loss options, including popular GLP-1 medications and performance-focused peptides that help you recover faster, burn fat, and stay sharp. So while Sooners are loading up in the portal, you need to go and chase those resolutions along with Jim Nagy. Visit CodyDrugRx.com to learn more. See how you can get started. Cody Drug, personalized medicine built for champions and portal champions as well. All right, so let's talk about this morning. The Michigan stuff. I think we kind of had an argument about what this meant, that it wasn't a done deal already, and Brent had gone and visited him, and all of a sudden, earlier this morning, George, you kind of started to hear some buzz that Michigan was concerned that they might lose him.
Yeah, it mostly came from the folks over at Michigan that they had started leaning towards thinking it was going to be OU, which was funny because a lot of Michigan people were like, there's no way he would leave Michigan. And I was skeptical too. Like, I was the one this morning that was like, I think he's going to go back to Michigan originally, just because I was like what's he waiting on? Like, he came and visited Oklahoma, didn't commit. Then Brent flew to Pittsburgh to close the deal, and he didn't commit then. And so I'm just like, well, what's he waiting on? And credit to Eddie. Eddie was right on this, on thinking that that he was, that means that maybe he was really thinking about leaving, and ultimately he did. And we started catching wind, I don't know, around 10 a.m. this morning that he was picking OU, which is crazy. I honestly, guys, I think him and Livingstone are the two biggest wins they got in the portal.
I agree. Yeah, 100%, because I think both those guys from day one are going to be able to step in, and they should be able to be major contributors next year. You look at Cole Sullivan and what he was able to do. He looks, when you turn on the tape, and I told George, Carey, it's maybe because he's wearing 23. It kind of looks like 28. You turn on the tape, he looks exactly like Danny Stubbs.
And he's white.
That should be pointed out as well.
But he's awesome. Like, his tape is like, oh, shit, this guy's really good.
He has a nose for the football, and he has a couple of plays last year with interceptions. Very, like, Kip Lewis instinctual recognition of the football coming his way, and I think it's rather exciting. This is as exciting time as I can remember, just in terms of, like, a fan base that it feels like is all moving in one direction. First time in a long time that it's felt like that everything is going so well right now.
Yeah, and there's a reason to be excited, because I think for all the hand-wringing about, they're too cheap to go get Cam Coleman and all that, like, you've seen it play out. You've seen what the vision has been with the front office and with a guy like Jim Nagy and his staff, and how just, I think you were trying to kind of term how this was yesterday. It just seemed seamless. Like, it was so well orchestrated, and they were so ready for any possibility or eventuality or whatever. I mean, like you said, the Alex Van Sumeren is the only thing that hasn't gone their way. I was joking yesterday, like, Brent hit the hard cap on the exciting whites, so and then I thought, well, Cole Sullivan's probably going to stay at Michigan now too, And then you come back a day later and you get Cole Sullivan, and it's just like, wow. I mean,
I think
these guys have done a job.
It's also just kind of a, I don't know, maybe it's something tangible that you can point to and say that everything that they've been doing in the transfer portal, or not the transfer portal, but the front office has been doing. And George kind of shed a little bit of light on that, talking to Kenny Azawolu in the story that's up on the site today. Just they had a plan. They had names on a big board. They'd done their homework over the last couple of months. It is not necessarily tampering as much as it is, hey, if this guy goes in the portal, we want to have identified him and go get him. And I think that you kind of saw that play out in the way that they were able to get guys on campus and close deals. It's kind of impressive that everything has gone as well as it has, and that they've been able to hit some kind of like off the field key points too, in terms of you got the perception thing with Livingston. You had with Sullivan today, you have a guy that I think has bought in with what Oklahoma's doing defensively. It's obviously a little bit weird that they're going to be headed up there in week 2 and he's going to be on the Oklahoma sideline. But I just think that like there are some things that you can point to now, and they built off of what they did in, obviously on the field and getting to the playoff this past season, that it feels like this is kind of what everybody had been waiting for, as long as, it continues in that direction and obviously they don't take a step back.
Well, and I think a lot of it's going to do with some of these positions that we've been belly aching about for a year now. Tight end, the offensive line depth, and I mean that appears to be something that we kind of question, like, okay, who are they really going to be able to get to come in here knowing that they've got 5 guys that are pretty much rooted in starting positions, and then they go get the kid from Arkansas.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if you were to say Livingston and Cole Sullivan are like 1A, 1B, I think the Amarian Harris thing is kind of sneaky the best portion of the portal, because he's a guy that can come in and he might be able to start next year. And I think he would add to an offensive line that obviously took some strides this year, that was young, that should be able to blend together.
Yeah, I think that, and even the Caleb Nita kid,
Western Kentucky kid,
they needed him. Like they really needed him.
He's a swing guy, right?
Well, he can play center.
Yeah,
he plays center, and Oklahoma doesn't have a center. So
you were starting for Becci at center the last 2
Michaela,
games.
Obviously of Michaela,
sure.
But I'm saying like they don't have anybody after that,
right,
other than Owen Hollebeck. So you needed this guy, and I think they're not done on the offensive line. I think they're going to add at least maybe 1 or 2 more bodies. So they have the Mississippi State kid Luke Wark. He's in town today, I believe, on his visit, and he would be kind of like a Logan Howland swing tackle type, and he started some games for Mississippi State this past year. So they're still working on a few guys, but I think so far they've kind of gotten their big names. I still think defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you guys. I don't want to be like, I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer. I really like the pieces they've gotten on defense. I'm just a little worried about the depth at linebacker and defensive tackle.
That's fair.
Those are 2 spots where I love the starters, no doubt about it. Jaden Jackson, David Stone, Kip Lewis, Cole Sullivan. Those are 4 really great players. After that, though, you're counting on Trent Wilson, Nigel Smith to step up. I mean, this kid from UTSA, I really like him. He's gonna have to put on some weight if he wants to play D tackle.
270.
And then at linebacker, you're counting on James Nesta, Taylor Heim, Marcus James, and I like all those guys. We haven't seen any of them play though.
You would be naive to think that they're going to be able to just step in and it's going to be seamless, because you've been so good at that position with guys that do the defense. And I told you earlier, George, that I think that it's okay to be a little bit concerned. Just, is Cole Sullivan going to be able to come in and pick up the defense? And it's one of the things that we always talk about with linebackers, and especially playing for Brent, is how much he throws at you. I would imagine he's going to be able to acclimate himself quite well. I would also say, too, just in terms of the front office and the job that they've done, I think it's been very well documented that they've done an exceptional job in preparation and execution. It's kind of cool, though, to see Brent. He's still got it on the recruiting trail going into Cole Sullivan's
he closed
home,
the deal. Like, I think that
that's
was
awesome.
Like, if he doesn't go on that in-home visit in Pittsburgh, they're not getting Cole Sullivan. Like, I truly
I would love to hear the 7-hour pitch that he gave the Sullivan family.
He just did, because
that he was there for hours upon hours.
Well, and that's the other thing about the front office. He probably couldn't have done that without a front office, because you can't just leave. They've got kids coming in and out, and for him to leave in that time and go see a kid, do an in-home visit, like that's That's tough to do if you don't have a front office.
It's like playing a scramble, and Brent has a really good short game. He just found somebody that could get it in the fairway. Just give him an opportunity.
Is there a possibility of another receiver, George?
Yes. Davion Dozier, App State wide receiver, 6'4", 205. I think he had like 400-something receiving yards this last year. He's going to be on campus tomorrow. So I think they're going to try and get him. After that, I don't know. Like they've lost so many guys in the receiver room. Like the entire 2024 class is no longer in the receiver room. We can have a discussion about why that is, but I think they're going to need at least one more body in that room.
You need another body, but at the same time, I think that in all heart of hearts, wouldn't you rather just see somebody like a Manny Choice develop or an Elijah Thomas develop into something that you can be counted on?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, if you don't, it already looks bad on Emmett Jones. Yeah. I mean, if he don't develop Elijah Thomas, which everyone thinks is a monster athletic freak, I don't know how you still continue to coach that position at the University of Oklahoma. And I don't think there's going to be a change made. But I'm still in I don't know territory because I think that's legitimately like I just don't know. Is he going to make it through the 30th? And I guess maybe we're just going to have to find out. Maybe they're going to just have to have the Board of Regents meeting, and he's either on the agenda or he's not. And that's what
and maybe there's not even a question in the Switzer Center.
If you don't know what he's talking about, that his contract runs out the end of January. So, and there hasn't been an extension in the last year. So it could be that they just don't renew or don't extend his contract, and he's just done. I guess I'm back now, Eddie. You've convinced me. I'm back on the fence.
I have no idea. I think he has been a part of everything here. Like he hasn't been absent.
Yeah, I kind of think they won't. I think they might just renew it. I just don't know. Like he has been part of the recruiting process for some of these receivers. I don't think they would. I don't know. Maybe they would. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of think we're going to find out who the tight ends coach is soon.
But I also think that, like, just in the same thought of the wide receiver stuff, if they didn't, there will be an uproar, I'm sure, from a segment of the fan base. I don't think it would be the same as if they would have brought Joe John back. And I know that I like Joe John. I hate to see it end the way that it did. Yeah, there's just a reality of the situation as well, though.
It had to happen.
Right.
Well, I mean, you gave out the stat. What was it, 9 catches or something?
Yeah, it was like 9 catches for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Over a 4-year span.
That was from his high school recruits.
I think that the Jaren Kanak thing was awesome. He got an invite to the Combine, which is badass. Hope he does well up there. But I think you also could say that, the Caden Helms of the world, he visited Minnesota, I think. Not necessarily the most sought out after guys either that are leaving. And I think that kind of reflects what that room was as a whole.
I think a lot of the portal is that you're still getting guys that were highly recruited in high school that are showing potential as getting interest from other schools, but like all these guys that go in the portal, like some of them have no shot of going. There's too many of them. And it's on us as just as a media that not more of that's been reported. Like I'm sure it would be shocking to know how many people just went into the portal last year and never came out, or where they ended up in a different division or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what the replacement rate is. That's something that I'm sure Max Olson, he listens, could probably fill us in, and I'm sure that he's doing something along those lines.
One thing I did want to say about the defensive tackle, I have heard some pretty, like, if you're wondering, like, okay, could OU go back to Marcus Strong? I don't think that's going to happen. I think, anything could happen. I mean, heck, look at the Washington and LSU thing going on right now. But I have a strong sense that OU is not going and renegotiating or anything like that.
I would also say, like, just from and George, you might be able to add a little bit to this as well, that, like, I think that if Giovanni wanted to come back, he could come back. Giovanni Gibson. I don't think that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah.
The door's open, though, I guess, is what
I just think that he's going to go somewhere that he can be the guy.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
Or at least have a better opportunity to be the guy.
It's not just about money, it's about opportunity.
Yeah, I think a lot of these portal entries are not about money. I think it's about a lot of these kids want to go play.
Yeah, and I completely, as much as I hate it in terms of what it is and just the overall complex of college athletics, I understand it as well because they can go make money. They can make quite a bit of money, I'm sure.
How about Jackson Arnold landing at UNLV?
I told you guys in the war room.
Speaking of people that have made a lot of money,
I don't think that the college experience is necessarily something that Jackson would look back on and say that was awesome. He has been profitable in his endeavors, and I think that at the end of the day, teaming up with Dan Mullen and UNLV, that's not a bad landing spot for somebody that I didn't really know what the market was going to look like.
Who has a better year next year, Jackson Arnold at UNLV or Michael Hawkins at West Virginia?
Ooh.
I would say Jackson, just because I still think that they're probably about a year away in Morgantown. I do like Rich Rod and what he's doing. I think the undertaking of what he's having to do, though, is quite drastic. Now, maybe you could have a better success in the Big 12 than the Mountain West. I don't know what the Mountain West is going to look like as a whole next year. UNLV wasn't necessarily terrible this year, though. I think they won 9 games.
I'm worried about Jackson, just his durability. I mean, he's been beating the shit out of him the last 2 years.
I also don't know what the do they have another quarterback? Is he coming in and going to be the starter automatically? Yeah. I don't know. The Calandria kid committed to Nebraska today. Nebraska's in a world of hurt right now.
They've been screwed over.
The Minch kid.
Where'd the quarterback that committed to him switch to last minute?
I think Kentucky.
Was it Kentucky?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know what's going on with quarterback. There is so much money being thrown around right now that it's kind of hard to follow. The Sam Leavitt stuff. I told you guys today I've become a little bit of a truther. I'm buying into the idea that he really did hurt his ankle playing pickup basketball, thus making what's his name? Kenny Dillingham basically say see ya. I'm buying into that. I'm buying into a lot of internet rumors right now.
I mean, the thing about it is, it's just it's all fascinating because you find yourself in it's almost like winning the lottery in some cases because, the Mestamaker kid, if Eric Morris had stayed at Texas and schools just came after him, I don't think there's any chance in hell somebody's paying him $3.5 million. But
certainly, I don't think would have ended up at Oklahoma State.
But Oklahoma State, they're desperate. They're coming off of a 1-11 season, and they know that they have to pay their way out of this hole that they've dug themselves. So
didn't really have an option.
I'd say probably that receiver, or the 2 receivers, the running back, Mestamaker, they all made way over what they could have gotten somewhere else.
Yeah, I would think so.
And then we already mentioned Jacob Sexton. Any offensive lineman, they're going to.
But, from an Oklahoma State perspective, I would imagine if it works out for them and they're able to turn it around and maybe win 8 games in 2 years or something. I don't know how quickly they're going to be able to do it. It would have been completely worth it, I think.
And by the way, if you're expecting Indiana to fall off anytime soon, well, Mark Cuban just made another huge donation to them.
I saw that.
And they are out there spending it. Now, let's get this straight, George. Do
you think Signetti's a Mossad agent?
You put this out there, George. I've learned how to ignore that. And not put it out there, but you talked about it. What exactly happened with Livingston, Indiana, and Oklahoma? How did that all play out?
Well, Indiana was basically thought of as the strong favorite. There's a lot of people that thought Livingston wouldn't even make it to campus at Oklahoma, but he went there. They offered him a lot of money. Oklahoma said they would match the money, and Livingston made it to Oklahoma. And then I think that it went so well on the visit. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it was as much about the money, which he did get some. I do think that him entering the portal was about the money. I think that something happened behind the scenes at Texas where either they didn't pay him what he was owed or they didn't pay him what
they had promised.
Something happened there, and that's why he entered. And then I think what happened was, I'm not saying this is the reason he chose Oklahoma. I do think there was a little bit of spite. I really truly believe that. I think that he also saw Oklahoma as an opportunity to be the guy, and OU paid him a good chunk of money. They matched what Indiana, offered, and then Indiana, I will tell you, Indiana on Tuesday morning tried to make another strong push for him, and that's kind of why we didn't hear him commit till I think it was like noon or so when he officially did. But Oklahoma was able to close the deal, so I think it was money. I think it was the opportunity at Oklahoma, and I do think there was a part of Livingston that wanted to get back at Texas a little bit. I really truly believe that.
I will believe that until the day that I died, no matter what comes out from the Livingston side of things. I'm sure that we'll talk to him during the spring, but like the opportunity that he has to become like one of those Oklahoma type legend lore guys, if he ends up being a really good receiver and makes production or contribution at the Cotton Bowl to win a game, I mean, you're talking about instant legend, instant hero in Oklahoma football history. It is. I told George earlier, Carey, that I think that like just the Texas response and the things that have come out of Austin or from Texas fans on social media, I think it tells you everything about how much they thought of the kid, just with the anger and the how much it's been kind of gone out of their way to prove a point that they can go get a guy to have 500 yards again next year. It's I think it's telling. You didn't necessarily hear that about Brennan Thompson.
Let me ask you this.
I think OU's never going to lose again, is what I'm telling you.
Looking right now at the transfer portal rankings, Texas is 45th. And I know they're trying to swim in a big pond with a lot of other people, but with the Parker stuff and the Levinson stuff and just all those guys leaving in the portal, they've had 19 players leave in the portal. Weisner was one of them.
It could be nothing, or it could be there could be something bigger
behind the scenes going on at Texas.
I'm not going to catch and act like I know what's going on behind the scenes for a team that I don't cover.
Yeah,
but it's certainly there are.
It's
I
weird.
think if you look hard enough on the internet, you can find rumors that there is something going on behind the scenes with Texas. And I do think that I was having a conversation with Nate Fakin about this last night. Sark was very adamant, if I remember correctly, about not necessarily needing a front office per se. And I do think that it highlights what Oklahoma's been able to do just in terms of putting together a staff around Jim Nagy, or Jim Nagy putting a staff around himself and being able to execute a plan. I think that I'm kind of bought into this idea that it was important that Oklahoma took these steps. And I think that you're starting to see a little bit of the fruits of those labors, not just in the portal. I mean, look at what they're doing in 2027. And you have a couple guys in your own backyard, which you've been able to get in, the Cooper Hackett's of the world or the Caden Pennies of the world. But I do think that having a structure in place has been a very, very good thing for Oklahoma.
A lot of people on YouTube last night, Eddie, concerned about you shaving your beard.
Well, when the Thunder are playing as bad, I had to change something up.
Is that what it was?
I'm hoping to, in my mind, change something up and let them play a little bit better.
It's a good thing that you had a Harry's shaver around.
It was indeed.
I actually went to Target last night, walked around, went to the Harry's section. I'm like George. I use a lot of stuff from Harry's. I use their forming gel or something like that. Taming cream, I think it's called. It's really good if you have longer hair. But, yeah, I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff. But really, they're known for their razors. George and I think I've been using Harry's for maybe 20 years. Used to be a thing where I'd get, a new razor for Christmas every year, and then the blades were so expensive, I was just like, oh, let me try this Harry stuff. And the shave was just as good as anything else you can get. But, yeah, they're a great place to go get a razor. Right now, they've got the Harry's Plus kit. It's $10. Comes with the Harry's Plus razor, a bottle of shave cream, and then a travel cover. So you don't have to go out there and pay $30 for refills when Harry gives you better blades for a fraction of that. And this new razor, Harry's Plus, it's the most advanced razor ever, their most advanced razor ever. And if you don't love their shave, they'll make it right. No questions asked. Risk-free trial means there's zero downside to giving it a shot. For a limited time, our listeners can get Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/Soonerscoop. The set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor, one refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, and travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just head to harrys.com/Soonerscoop to claim this offer, and after your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please let them know you heard about it from Sooner Scoop, Eddie, George, Carey, whatever, and thanks to Harry's. Okay, so moving forward, how much, I mean, we've talked about it, but could you see this getting into like 4 or 5 more guys in the portal, George? Or is that too many?
From OU?
Yeah.
The only one I can think of that's obvious is Cade McIntyre.
No, not getting in. OU signing out of the portal.
Yeah, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I think they're going to try and add some bodies. I'm interested. Do they try to add another linebacker? I kind of think that they like the linebacker room as young as it is. I think that if they can find the right guy that would maybe take a little bit less money, like I know everybody wants the Owen Long kid from Colorado State. His market is really high. I think that he's going to have a very high price point, and he also wouldn't be able to come in and be an immediate starter. So I don't know if they can get somebody like that. I think you're more so looking for somebody that's a young guy with maybe 3 years of eligibility left that you have a relationship with, and he'd be okay coming in and just being, a depth piece and developing. Same with defensive tackle. Like, I think it's a situation where, I don't know, maybe you can find a 1-year rental from a small school, or maybe you can go out and get somebody with a couple years of eligibility.
Who's the guy that you liked back in the day? There was the small that came from like Appalachian State or something with. I'm thinking Eddie. I think.
Defensive tackle?
No, linebacker.
Oh, Connor Neer from Ferris?
Neer, yeah.
Ferris State?
Yeah.
Shout out.
Ferris State, yeah.
National champion?
Yes. But, I think those are 2 spots. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to add a body. Safety, I think that they might look at bringing in somebody at safety, or like Cheetah, somebody that's kind of a hybrid secondary player. Offensive line, I still think they want to add probably 2 more bodies there, or at least 1. And then we'll just see. I think 1 more at wide receiver. So, yeah, you're looking at 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there. But I don't think any of them will be huge names. I'm sure that there'll be a couple guys maybe they get in on, but I don't think it's going to be like the Cole Sullivans or the Parker Livingstones of the world.
All right, you mentioned
and for the most part, I would say over the next 2 days, those guys are going to be gone. Like that tier 1 transfer portal guy. I think there's a lot of decisions that have already been made.
Yeah, and I think that's what's interesting is like you get some of these guys that are going on like 5 visits and stuff like that and stringing it out, and they're doing it pretty quick. But like we said before, there are other Jim Nagy's out there that are talking to agents, that are lining things up, that are talking numbers. I think it's just like with LSU and what's the quarterback's name at Washington?
Sam Leavitt. No. Damon Williams.
Damon Williams, yeah, like obviously he was signing that deal and still talking to people about numbers, and it's going to be really interesting. It's not the first time this has happened. It happened a year ago with the Wisconsin, I think DB that went to Miami, and he walked out on his NIL deal. I think the difference is this was like a boilerplate Big Ten contract template that they used, that the Big Ten is totally behind. And so I don't know if that makes any difference in terms of the legality of it, but that's just how this goes. I mean, people talk before they ever get in the portal, after they're in the portal, and a lot of stuff the player doesn't even know what's being negotiated, or I'm sure it's being relayed at the end of the day. Like, okay, I talked to Miami today, and they're up to $650, and then we called back USC, and they're at $625. Like, I'm sure all that goes. So I can't even remember the original point there, but
it was a great point.
There was one other thing I wanted to try and dive into, and again, my brain is in a blender. But yeah, I mean, anything else just stand out to you guys just in the last couple of days? I know we're all kind of foggy.
I don't think so, as much as it's obviously great. I'm kind of excited. I want to get spring ball. I wish it started tomorrow. as exhausting as the portal stuff has been. But it's going to be interesting. Like I do think. Here's a question, Carey. I was talking to George about this earlier. Depending on like where everything goes from here, obviously they might add a couple more bodies. I don't know if it's going to be anybody of significance. As it stands now, is OU a top 10 team next year in the preseason?
Yes. And I think it's not just because of what they've done in the portal. I think that helps. But I think that anytime you bring back your quarterback, as much as some of you people out there don't like him, and he didn't play well, I get it. But when you bring back your quarterback, you have as much momentum as you do. You're not really changing staff much. Like, you're bringing back your offensive line pretty much, a good chunk of your defense. Like, I think that they're probably like anywhere from Eddie, maybe 8 to 12 is where we'll be in the preseason.
I think that's perfect. I would maybe even go like 9 to. I know it's a little bit bigger gap, but like 9 to 13, something like that. I don't know. Because I don't know what the rest of the.
I'm going to say not top 10 because I think there's going to be an SEC backlash after this year.
Like because of how they did or didn't do in the
unless Ole Miss wins it all.
Stuff. Yeah, I could see that. But at the end of the day,
I think OU, they'll still be Georgia, they'll still be Alabama. Texas A&M returns a lot. So OU's going to be. That's a real question. What are they going to be in the SEC preseason ranking? 6, 5?
Oh man, I don't know. That is a good question. It probably like. Where do you put Ole Miss
ahead of
if
Tennessee?
Shambliss doesn't get
if Shambliss doesn't come back
waiver? I don't know. What is Alabama doing at quarterback with Ty Simpson's announcement on Wednesday?
Dude, I like Mac.
Oh, the kid that came in.
Yeah. He's just
he's a mountain of a man.
I know it sucks because you weren't down there on the field, but that was the most other than the tight end at Michigan. I can't remember his name. The most physically impressive human I saw was is it Dylan Mack? What's his first name?
Austin Mack, I think.
Austin Mack, yeah. I mean, that dude's just he's like Blake Bell. He's just a large human. Everything about him is large.
What was that kid's name? Marlon Klein.
Oh, the tight
end
from
for Michigan.
Michigan, yeah.
So I don't know. It's an interesting thought, though, and I'm sure that we'll talk about it throughout the offseason. But
it is bizarre that OU will face two teams where they took someone out of the portal and they're facing those teams.
Yeah, and Javonte Barnes will be coming back and playing Oklahoma next year.
Oh, yeah.
Kentucky.
Shout out.
You're going to see a lot of mismatch, I think, over the course of the next couple of years because nowadays it just doesn't really matter where you started your school year.
Did I miss? I thought Wendell Gregory committed to Texas Tech.
I thought he did too.
Hayes Fawcett just put out that he's visiting Texas and Missouri this week.
It was put out there that he committed to Tech.
Huh.
For like.
And I don't know,
days
like Tech's situation because they took the defensive end from Wake Forest yesterday. Does that affect them? I really don't know.
Look, at some point when this portal season is over, I think one of the big issues that people are going to be talking about is what exactly is preventing people from just paying whatever they want for their roster. Because I don't know if you guys saw, I think Ross Dellinger put this out there today. It was a sample contract of Brandon Sorsby that he got from LSU.
Yeah.
And OU's doing the same thing, which is your multimedia rights holder is handling NIL, and they have these corporate sponsors guaranteeing this NIL money to people, and it's like talking about 4 appearances and stuff. So it's a workaround. But some of these, I think Fly Sports is what LSU has, which is what A&M just signed with. OU has Learfield, who has most schools. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing that we're sitting here just seeing people throw around this money and $4 million for a receiver. If you really were staying true to your cap, if you will, there's no way you pay $4 million for a receiver in college football.
It's insane.
Or what is it, $5 million reportedly that Sorsby's getting?
Yeah, it's something around there. I don't know. I guess if
it's
you
just
have
not,
the money,
it's
you
not
spend
possible.
it. But
$5 million to a quarterback, and you're on a $20.5 million roster limit?
That's like the thing that Haston put out.
The math doesn't math.
Drew Mestemaker's going to make more money than Josh Holliday next year. He's going to make more money than J.C. Hoyt, the OSU basketball coach. It's crazy.
Oh, the women's coach?
Yeah. There's a number of coaches up there that he's going to be making more money than. He's going to be making, I think the number was $300,000 less than the head coach.
Well, John Mateer made more than Ben Arbuckle.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
But yeah, that's my prediction. When the dust settles on the portal, the national discussion is going to turn to basically caps.
How this can be fixed.
Yeah. And how schools are allowed to have $40 million
I mean,
rosters.
It seems like those voices are louder than they've ever been. Will the NCAA actually do something about it? I mean, are they back from holiday vacation yet?
I think the greatest thing about this whole deal is that Cody Campbell is out there like, we need change. We need to fix this thing. And he's the one that's paying the most.
Yeah.
Like, is he just like a wolf in sheep's clothing? Or
it reminds me of all the college basketball coaches that over the last couple of weeks have been talking about adding guys in the midseason. And it's like, hey, we just are going by the rules. If there's not a rule for it, why wouldn't we take advantage of it?
Is this like the Tim Robinson hot dog skit?
Possibly.
And look, I think here's the other thing. I think when I see people out there on the portal, and I think former athletes that I know are as bad about it as anybody. It's happening, dude. The train has left the tracks. Like the transfer stuff, going to the highest bidder. It's you just have to learn that that's how things are. It doesn't make college football. College football right now, they just had the highest viewership ever in the playoff era. People are not stopping. Why? This is just like the old, the Colin Kaepernick thing. It was like you had this vocal minority that was declaring that the NFL was going to die, and it only got more popular. The transfer portal is not going to kill off college football. You're just old man yelling at the clouds.
Well, look at our subscription numbers. It's the best thing that's ever happened to us in a lot of ways.
2 days. By the way, shout out everybody listening. Last 2 days, we have been the leaders in subscription sales on 3, the entire network.
And I would say that like the content that we've been putting out, it's not necessarily clickbait. It's exactly what has happened.
Yeah.
As George has done an incredible job in the portal and tracking everything
Really
as crazy as it has been. It's a lot of fun. Again, it's a lot of fun because it's positive for Oklahoma, and I'm just kind of pleased in a way that this is a fan base that it seems like never agrees on anything or can be excited about something. There's always a yeah, but. Right now, it's very, very positive in terms of what they're doing, and I think that like when you start looking at the next couple of years and what they've been building, it could be really special. But they obviously got to. Like Hayden Hansen has to come in and be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like Cole Sullivan has to come in and be able to pick up the defense. I think he will. It's I think that like it's kind of almost been overlooked a little bit, but it's still a big freaking deal that they were able to get like a David Stone back and get a Isaiah Satania expected to be back. Kip Lewis, same boat. Like the retention is still there, and the Cortland Guillory's of the world, Eli Bowen, Peyton Bowen. There's a number of guys that probably could have gone out and probably got a pretty sizable bag, but I think that there is a culture that people want to be a part of.
And I do have a message for the people that just want to keep pointing out, like, Nagy still screwed up on Ott. Yeah, he did.
If you can't get over that now, you probably never will, and it's going to be really miserable.
No one's going to invite you to their house. You're not fun at parties, and you need to just, chill out, dudes. It's going very well. This is the first full year that Nagy's had a chance to put his staff out there, and we've talked. I remember talking to him last year during camp, and these stories have gotten out there. But just the way they go about and evaluate it, and all the work that they put in, and they don't talk to each other about what they think of certain players. So when they get together, they all either come to a consensus, or someone brings up something that they don't like on tape, and everybody else might see it too. So, like, they've put in a ton of work to be ready. And look, they've got to get back to the playoffs and they got to play better on offense and all this stuff. But you're going to have a great 2027 recruiting class. It's going to be backed up by so you're going to have a playoff appearance, this portal class, which has gone very well, then this next season, then a 2027 recruiting class. Like, it's where you want it to be right now. And I know there's going to be people like, well, it's not a national championship.
It's been a strange, winding path to get to this point, but I think that like it seems to be working.
I think the one way for us to explain it, like how much better it is, I no longer feel like a therapist. I feel like an actual, guy that works at a media company. Because it's just been so just dealing with all the bitching and all the,
Don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of woe is me out there, but it's not as much, which is kind of nice that maybe people are seeing a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's nice to see people go on the message board and be able to be positive and celebrate things.
Oh, I mean, George and I were talking about it yesterday. The TPT, I think, has been probably
amazing.
It's been better than the last couple of years, and obviously it's kind of gained a lot of traction, a lot of attention, but it's just kind of fun banter back and forth between a lot of people.
Yeah, these are good times. So just try and take it in and enjoy it a little bit. Okay, anything else you guys wanted to hit on football-wise?
I don't think so. Excited to hear Josh's reports back from, obviously everything from Orlando was great. Go check out the interviews with Crew Jones as well as Jake Crail on Soonerscoop.com's editorial page. Also have an interview with Zane Rowe, 2027 defensive tackle from Denton Geyer. Excited to, what's to come with this weekend down in San Antonio, the Navy All-American game. Taven Epps as well as Devin Robertson are both announcing their intentions. We'll see where Oklahoma ends up. It feels like, just talking to Josh, I want everybody to go to watch the recruiting report on the Soonerscoop.com YouTube channel. Sounds like Oklahoma's in really good shape for both of those guys. And you're talking about another guy that was committed to Texas and Taven Epps. If you're able to get him at linebacker, and then, Devin Robertson, a really highly ranked guy out of Mississippi, defensive tackle-wise. Josh was saying he thinks he's going to rise up in the rankings. It's just continued news in what they're building in that 27 class that I think is starting to look like a group that could maybe compete as one of the better recruiting classes in the country. So very excited to see what he gets from that. And, obviously you can watch Jonathan Hatton. He's on the West team as well, 12:30 on NBC on Saturday afternoon. The whole Alamo Dome Navy game, Army game experience, those are, I don't know, that's like the one still like old connection back to the old years, if you will. I still remember waking up and watching Adrian Peterson commit, so it's going to be kind of fun.
I think that was, that we were at
Sugar Bowl.
The Sugar Bowl.
Went to go see Joe Mixon commit.
No, I mean the Adrian Peterson, we were at the Sugar Bowl.
I wasn't down there, but yeah.
That was the LSU game, I think. No, the LSU game was the Landon Collins commitment. It's so crazy that I remember.
No, Landon Collins was the same night. Or no, I can't remember. We were in San Antonio, though. Landon Collins was at the Under Armour the same year as Joe Mixon, is what it was. He was an Under Armour game because they were playing at Tropicana back in the day.
Maybe I'm thinking of Leonard Fournette's commitment. Anyway.
Leonard Fournette was like 2012, 2013. Somewhere around there, I think.
Maybe that was the OU Alabama year.
I think it was.
Okay. Anyway, we're doing old guy. I'm doing old guy. I better stop. Basketball, I would say, Eddie, this is a critical stretch for this basketball team because there's some games in there that you just don't want to lose and put yourself kind of down the list of teams in the SEC.
Yeah, so I put up a post on the board today on the Crimson Corner just talking about the opportunity going into this week, kind of piggybacking Bob's story this morning. It's I think this is like a big week. This is kind of a big game tonight because I think that like this next two games, you got a trip to Starkville on Wednesday night, and then you go down to College Station on Saturday. If you were able to sweep, I think it's obviously a positive. You'd start 3-0 in conference play, but I think it's like kind of maybe more than that. It kind of tells you where this team is at. It's a good barometer to see Like, I think a team that if you want to start talking, okay, maybe they could get to the second weekend in the NCAA tournament, I think you go win a game, 1-1 or 2-0 this week, and obviously 2-0 would be fantastic. I don't think that Mississippi State's necessarily one of those teams that's going to be at the top of the SEC standings at the end of the year. It's a great opportunity to go win a game against a team that I think you should. If you're if you're a team that is solidifying yourself into the NCAA tournament as early as it is in the season, these are the types of games that you go win. So kind of intrigued to see what they're doing. And, I think that like the way that they're shooting the basketball right now, they're averaging just under 84 points a game. I think it's the most since 2017-18 year. You look at the way that they're shooting the ball right now from 10.5 threes a game is the most in 14 years. I don't think that that's going to, like, my biggest question for this team now is because you have, I think, what you feel like is a pretty good backcourt in Nigel Pack and Xavier Brown, who has been fantastic over the last 5 games, 21 points a game. He's he's had at least 18 in each of those. He's starting to show a little bit of what I think they thought that they were getting out of the portal from St. Joe's. My questions are you going to have role guys shoot the ball that they have as they have at home? I think probably not, but what are you going to get from Kuala Talk on the road this year in conference play? I don't know, and I think that's kind of what you start finding out here over the next couple of weeks when they have to go play some road games. So that's kind of my biggest question mark. Obviously, Wiggy can't get into foul trouble, that kind of stuff, the elementary stuff that we always talk about with Oklahoma. I like this group, though. I thought the way that they controlled the game against Mississippi was very promising, and now you got to take that next step.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, going on the road, it's going to be interesting seeing kind of how big a role Nigel Pack plays down the stretch if they really need a bucket here or there.
For sure. I think him and Xavier Brown, you get the ball in their hands, you feel pretty good about it. At the very least, running the offense, and obviously both of those guys can go get a bucket. It's been, I think, a little bit better than I thought they were going to be in the backcourt. They're top 10 right now nationally in turnovers per game with just 9.2, which is phenomenal. If you can do that all year, that's one way that you win games in the NCAA tournament, is having guard play and veteran guard play at that can take care of the basketball. So,
Saturday's going to be really interesting too, because
with A&M, they're off to a 2-0 start.
They are, and they beat Auburn. They beat LSU.
I don't think they're very good, but
they
Auburn
killed Oklahoma State. But I don't know how good Texas A&M is.
Not very, but we'll see. If they can. If all of a sudden you look up at A&M is 3-0 in conference play, they're going to be kind of the surprise of the league after getting picked in the bottom half. So we'll see. Auburn had to do a lot to throw that game away on Tuesday night. If you want another hot take,
okay.
Stephen Pearl, the Auburn basketball situation I think is in shambles.
That was
right
a game
now.
he threw a bunch of F-bombs around post game, right?
A&M went on a 31-5 run last night, so they have nobody to blame but themselves for how that thing ended.
But it's the schedule's interesting. Mississippi State, and then you get to Alabama January 7th.
Next week is really, really tough.
Yeah.
Next week is really,
Arkansas
really tough.
January 27th, Texas January 30th. So it ramps up.
They have the defending national champions coming in here a week from, I guess, last night. Florida coming into town.
They're not playing that well, are they?
I think they're playing. They're going to be okay when it's all said and done. They're much better, I think, than their record shows. Yeah. They beat the hell out of Georgia, who I think is pretty good. They were a top 25 team last night. So we'll see. Mississippi State, A&M, and then Florida and Alabama coming up the next 2 home games, and certainly would hope that people come down and it's a fun team to watch. Like I said, the scoring stuff. This is the best offense Porter Moser's had since he's arrived, and I think it's going to be pretty consistent. I don't think you're going to see a drastic drop off here in conference play. They can score the basketball.
Have you seen the women's schedule?
I'm pulling it up.
The
right
next
now.
8
That's
games,
another schedule.
6 of the next 8 games are against top 20 opponents, 3 of which are top 10 opponents.
Yeah.
4 top 12.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It starts on Thursday with Ole Miss coming to town, and then
at Kentucky,
and
LSU
then,
at home,
and then the 2 big ones.
South Carolina at home, at Auburn, Texas A&M. Those are the 2 unranked, and then at number 2 Texas, at number 7 Vanderbilt.
And all of
just
a sudden
a
you're in February.
brutal schedule. I'll be at the game tomorrow.
If Aaliyah Chavez continues to win SEC,
she's going to win. Obviously, she's going to win SEC
week,
Freshman of the Year. Yeah. She's probably going to be a freshman All-American. All of that stuff. I mean, she's won it every single week. I think she's won 5 times the SEC Freshman of the Week. It's insane. So they're going to need her to ball out during this stretch, and if they can just go like 500 in that stretch, that's a win.
You know, the crazy thing is maybe the most obvious. They're ranked the number 5 team in the country right now. It's kind of crazy. They've won 13 in a row. I understand, but
this one on Thursday tomorrow is a big one because of all the games, it's easily the most winnable. Because then you have to go at number 6 Kentucky on Sunday. That's a really tough ask. And then you turn around and get LSU and South Carolina, which I would say you got to split those. You got to win one of those two. And I think LSU's the way more winnable game.
Yeah. I haven't seen South Carolina this year, but
they're damn good.
They're just
I don't think LSU's
is just
good.
Such a difference between
LSU's good. I don't think they're great this year.
Mm-hmm.
Who's great? UCLA. Are they great?
Yeah, but they've lost a few. Or they've lost a couple.
Is UConn still really good?
I think UConn's the best team.
Texas is really good, aren't they?
Texas is really good.
Well,
which is crazy. Crazy Texas is this good, and like they almost got Chavez. Like they were supposed to get Chavez.
It's a good thing that the women are pretty good at Texas because I think Sean Miller, another guy that he has his work cut out with him.
Wasn't there a girl on Texas's team that she didn't like or something, or they had some bad blood with?
I don't know about
or
that.
Just that she wouldn't be able to run the team basically because
I think they had a point guard that came back.
Yeah,
that was very good. I can't remember her name. That's very good. That
she knew she wouldn't just immediately
be the. I mean, she would have started for Texas Chavez, but she wouldn't have been she's the go-to player for.
You're talking about Rory Harmon.
Yes, I think that's correct.
She got a medical red shirt for I think 2023, 2024, or something like that.
She's very good.
All right. Well, look, we've got a special going on right now. It's 50% off for all new subscribers at Sooner Scoop. That's for annual subscriptions. The portal stays open. We stay working. We're going to keep you updated on everything that goes on. We're going to give you some context behind some of the things that do happen in the portal, just like we have today with Sammy Omasigo and everybody else that either leaves or comes to Oklahoma. So keep checking that out, and lots of recruiting stuff with Josh in San Antonio the next couple of days. As Eddie said, been in Orlando. There'll be a recruiting report up on the YouTube page when you are listening to this, so you can go check that out if you're just a recruiting junkie and you want all recruiting. It was a great episode. So that's going to do it for this week. We'll be back again next week for another edition of the Unofficial 40 podcast right here on Soonerscoop.com.